Hey people, F-Baby here with another farming route for you. Today I want to show off this Alchemy map farming route. We're going to be in the Gold Coast zone, which is easily the prettiest zone in the game. Somerset is wildly overrated. This is a loop from the Strid River Way Shrine up towards the Black Drake Villa before running down the west side of Kvatch and back to the Way Shrine. This should take about 20-ish minutes to complete. You'll see that I have Columbine, Mountain Flower, Violet Copernus, and Bugloss all highlighted in Farming Buddy since these are the 4 most valuable plants we're looking for. We don't have any chance at Ethereal Dust, and Alchemy nodes don't have a chance at dropping anything particularly exciting besides the odd furnishing. I mention that because Alchemy farming tends to have a lower overall gold total than other materials. The difference being that Alchemy materials are almost always in demand. Power leveling characters via Alchemy is one of the fastest, if not the fastest ways to level a character. And depending on the events, especially PvP events, it is not uncommon to find certain Alchemy prices spiking through the roof. Several guilds I've been in have advised just flipping Alchemy mats as a way to make millions. They claim it works. I'd say that it's a little bit slower than what people think, but it is still a valid way to gain gold. All of that is to say, this is why it's a good idea to farm Alchemy mats from time to time. Anyway, much like with runestones, we can't predict exactly what we'll farm, so we're once again just counting the amount of nodes that we can harvest. While we're running this route, I want to talk about a couple elephants in the room. Firstly, yes, this is not the best Alchemy farming spot. Hollow City in Cold Harbor is and probably always will be the best place to farm plants. The respawn rate and lack of enemies is just impossible to beat, and our total after 20 minutes here would be dwarfed by 20 minutes of farming there. But you already knew that, and that's why I didn't want to make a video about Hollow City. Everyone else already has, and I mean there are so many. Additionally, because it's such a good spot to farm, you will almost always find competition there. Hollow City can support 2, maybe even 3 people farming it at once, but after that, you're losing efficiency and competing over every node. Plus, farming should be at least somewhat relaxing, so why deal with all that when you can come out here to the remnants of the Empire and pluck flowers out of the ground in relative peace? This is a good route for Explorer weekends as well. Secondly, I know I said I'd go back to flipping this week, and I plan on it. I was hoping to get that ready for today, but I was slammed this weekend and didn't get a chance to get the script or video ready. Thankfully, I've made good progress on that, and I plan on getting that uploaded for tomorrow. A quick preview of things you'll see in that video. We lost a little gold on our flips because I priced some things wrong. I talk about monopolies, and I talk about rehoming some listings. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. One of the things you might think about doing along the route here is adding one other resource to it. Ancestor Silk is a good option since there's some nodes along the way, or maybe Rubidite ore. This is to make up a little bit of additional wealth, so you're not so dependent on RNGesus giving you the right herbs. It's entirely possible that you could run this route and come away with nothing but Dragonthorn, in theory, so padding our income with some extra materials is desirable and probably smart. As they say, diversify your bonds. I like this part of Gold Coast rather than the more western part, as enemies aren't as dense and the terrain is generally more favorable. I know that Harvest Maps has a feature to draw you a farming route, but I often find it either wants me to run off of cliffs or up mountains, and it results in a lot of skip nodes inputs, so I just do it by eye. I can show you how I judge where a good farming route is in a future video if there's any interest in that. This route should net you something close to 45 Alchemy nodes in 15 minutes, but most importantly, because Gold Coast is a small zone, you should see that nodes are mostly respawned by the time you get back. Anyway, here's our totals. As you can see, we gathered mostly Ancestor Silk, as that pops up at a higher rate and out of nodes at a higher rate than any of the Alchemy mats. But even though we gathered only 2 Columbine, it was still our most profitable plant that we gathered. Violet Copernus right behind it, with Mountain Flower coming in third. So yeah, that is our totals. I do want to comment on the Grain of Pearl Sand. I see here that there is a value assigned to that. That just means that somebody in one of my guilds has sold some recently. I wouldn't put much stock in being able to sell it for very much. In my experience, this particular style mat moves slowly, and that means it will sit on your trader for a while and take up a sales spot that you could use on something else.